Welcome to my channel, All for Health with Jane. The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial continues. When Magistrate Kronye was on the witness stand, she informed the court that on the day she conducted the confession pro forma for Bongani Ntanzi, Bongani Ntanzi was accompanied by his lawyer. The other person who was with them in that room when the pro forma was completed was the Zulu interpreter for Ntanzi. Remember, family, when Advocate Mgomezulu argued against the Magistrate Kronye that Bongani Ntanzi did not have any legal representative on that day, the first thing I thought of was if maybe the state can call at least the Zulu interpreter to come tell the court who this man in the suit was. Fortunately, Tsepiso Evelyn Motlhaping was called to come clear this misconception. To prove that Tsepiso Evelyn Motlhaping, who is the interpreter, was present on the day Magistrate Kronye was completing the pro forma confession for Ntanzi. To show that both were there, most of the things they said do correlate. Family, let's watch and listen to the following clips and compare what Evelyn Motlhaping, the interpreter, and what Magistrate Kronye said, and check on the correlation that I'm talking about.
Ms. Motlhaping, can you just explain what was the process that was followed when this statement was taken? When was this exhibit signed?
The presiding officer started with the completion of the pro forma and thereafter moved on to the statement. I think the whole thing was signed after the statement was taken down.
Lana ke okwenzeka ke ukuthi ke magistrate ke waqala ke ngaloko kubiza ukuthi pro forma wase endlulela ke kusona ke statement ukuthi ke kusayindwe yonke into ke kwasayindwa uma seqedwe konke.
And if you look from page 1, every page is initialed.
That is correct.
When was this done?
This was done after the completion of the taking down of the statement.
Uma ubheka ke ku page ke ngayodwa ke laphana ezansi ke akusayindwanga kodwa kube kunje ama initials ukuthi nalapho ke kwenziwa lokho uma seqedwe istatement.
Except on page 4, the initials of the interpreter.
I see I missed that part, yes.
Ngabona ke ku page 4 ukuthi angizange ngikwenzeke lokho ukuthi ama initials wami kwafake lapho.
Can you remember where the deponent got the pen from that he used to sign to initial and sign the exhibit JJ?
I gave him a pen.
Lona ke wayenza statement yakhe ukuthi pen wayithola kuphi ke initial ke imina owamnikeza ipen.
Family, both Magistrate Kronye and Tsepiso Motlhaping, they indicate that the completion of the pro forma was done first and the signing of the pro forma was done at the end, each page being initialed by each of them. And when the defense and accused number 2 claims he did not sign anything on the day.
I then proceeded to where the said confession was to be done.
And where was that?
That was in room number 2.
Room number
2. Yes, what happened further?
And as I came towards room number 2, I then saw a number of people standing outside the office.
Ngathi masingiya ke lapho ke ku room 2 ngabona ke nje kunabantu ke nje ababalwa ke abemi lapho ke ngaphandle kwelo office lelo.
Were they identifiable?
Some of them, yes.
Abanye babo ke kwakungabantu ke okungasho ungasibakhomba noma asithi ke babegqoke izinto okungabakhomba.
Yes, how were they identifiable?
They were Metro Police officers clad in uniform.
Kwakuamaphoyisa ke emetro noma ke Metro Police babegqoke i-uniform.
Yes, and where were they at that stage?
They were standing just outside office number 2 in the passage.
That's fine. Babe njengaphandle ke kwa office leyo number 2 kuyona ke passage leyo.
Yes.
And there was also a person who was in handcuffs.
Wayekhona ke nowayefakwe ozamkosi.
And there was also a gentleman who was standing among all of those people who was, well, clad in a suit.
Wayekhona ke nomunye nje umlisa owayemi phakathi kwalabo bantu labo wayegqoke isuit.
And where precisely was this gentleman in a suit standing?
He was also standing in the passage, but slightly on the side, on the side from where the Metro officials were standing.
Wayemi lapho ke ku-passage leyo ke nalowo egqoke isuit kodwa ungathi nje eceleni kula ama-Metro Police ayemi khona.
Yes, you may proceed.
And well, shortly thereafter, we then proceeded to the office, in office number 2. That was myself and the presiding officer.
Akubanga ke isikhathi eside emuva kwalokho sasesingena-ke kulelo office mina ke kanye naye imantshi.
And who was the presiding officer?
It was Mrs. Vivian Cronier.
Mrs. Vivian Cronier.
The person in handcuffs was also led into the office.
Lona ke owayefakwe ozamkosi naye ke wase engeniswa ke naye e-office.
Who led him into the office?
I think it was one of the police officials, one of the officials.
Ngicabanga ukuthi kwakuwomi elinye ke lamaphoyisa yena ke owamfaka.
Yes.
And the gentleman clad in a suit also came into the office.
Lona ke owayegqoke isuit naye wangena ngaphakathi e-office.
Yes.
I think this is where the presiding officer asked one of the police officials, I think, if I'm not mistaken, my lord, I think he was the investigating officer or of the matter or something, but she requested him to make copies of his appointment certificate.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ngaleso sigaba ke ila khona ke imanje yase icela ke omunye amaphoyisa ayelapha ngicabanga ukuthi ke ilona owumphenyi ke noma ke umseshi ke wecala ukuthi ke alethe ke i-certificate noma amtshengise ke i-certificate sakhe somsebenzi.
And this is after he introduced himself to the presiding officer.
Kwakusemuva ke ukuthi eyichazile-ke noma eyishilo-ke kuyena-ke kuyona imanje ukuthi ubani.
Yes.
After he brought the copies of the appointment certificates, he then left the office.
Emuva kokuthi ke amakhophi lawo ke ewalethile azobe i-certificate wase ephuma ke e-office.
So who's that now?
And this is the police officer. I think it's Mr. Mokhane or something.
Iphoyisa ke ngicabanga ukuthi uMr. Mokhane.
Yes.
And just before we could start, I remember the presiding officer had a conversation with the gentleman. I mentioned earlier that he was dressed in a suit.
Ngaphambilini kokuthi njena siqale-ke ngiyakhumbula ukuthi imanje yaba nako-ke uxoxisana noma-ke ukhuluma nalomlisa-ke engimshilo ngaphambilini ukuthi wayegqoke isuit.
Could you hear what the nature of the conversation was?
Well, as far as I can recall, I think she was asking him who he was.
Uma ngikhumbula kahle ngicabanga ukuthi imanje yayimbuza-ke ukuthi wayewubani.
Yes.
And the gentleman said that he was the legal representative of the suspect at the time.
Wase echaza ke ukuthi ummeli womsolo kwawumsolo wakhe ngaleso sikhathi leso.
And this was confirmed by the suspect himself after he was asked by the presiding officer.
Lokho ke kwase kuqinisekiswa ke uyena umsolo emukamuva kokuthi ke imantshi ke ibuza kuyena ke naye ke waqinisekisa impela ukuthi impela kunjani.
Yes.
I think after all the pleasantries were done, we then proceeded with the business of the day.
Ngicabanga ukuthi emuva kokuthi konke ke sekwenziwe ke sekuqaliwe ke sase siqala ke ngalokho ke okwakusihlanganise lapho ngalelo langa.
Both the magistrate and the interpreter agreed on the use of room 2 for the signing of the proforma. That's where the meeting was held. And they say on their arrival, there were a number of people standing outside the office, and some of these people were Metro Police in uniform. And among them, there was a person who was handcuffed. And there was a gentleman in a suit who allegedly introduced himself as Ntanzi's lawyer. In terms of this one, where they say this man said he was Ntanzi's lawyer, the defense and the accused denies it, saying the accused was never represented by any legal person on that day. Family Tsepiso and Magistrate Cronje both further said the accused, being Bongani Ntanzi, confirmed that the man in a suit was his lawyer. But now Ntanzi and the defense are saying the opposite on this matter.
And what was your overall impression about the suspect? It has been put to Ms. Grenier that the suspect was coerced, assaulted. What was your overall impression?
My lord, my overall impression was that, of course, looking at the demeanor of the suspect at the time, he appeared to me like somebody who really wanted to speak whatever it was that he wanted to say.
Mina ke ngendlela ke wayebukeka ngayo ke bhekana ngayo ke umsolo wakhe ngalelo langa lelo ke ukuthi kwakuwumuntu onalentshisakalo ke ofisayo noma ufunayo ukukhuluma nama yini leyo wayefuna noma efisa ukuthi ayisho ngalelo langa lelo.
And are you able to perhaps say why you were of that view?
Well, because if I may just fast forward a bit, when the rights were explained to him, and the fact that he was not compelled in any way to make a statement, his specific words were, I really want to speak. I just want to say this. If I can say it in Zulu, my lord, he said, "Tasisi, ngifuna ukuqhubeka ngikhulume."
Uma ke amalungelo akhe esewachazelwa ke sekushiwo ke noma ukuthi ke futhi akaphoqelekile ukuthi ke asho lutho noma ke akhulubeke kwakuyena ke othi ngiyafuna ukusho lokho washo lamagama ke usisaqedwe washo manje ekusho ngesizulu. No lady, I really want to speak.
And do you remember if the suspect had any injuries?
Not at all, sir.
Ukulimala noma ke amanqaba cha ayengekho nje wayengenabo ukulimala wena.
Sorry, that question is, the answer is ambiguous. That's you.
Yes.
Not at all. Do you remember if the suspect had any injuries?
Oh.
Not at all, sir.
I apologize. my lord.
It's double senor.
Yes. Can you
No, my lord, I did not see any injuries on the suspect.
Cha ke akukho nje ukulimala noma amanqaba engawabona noma amanqaba engawabona mina kuyena umsolo.
It was also put by the defense to Ms. Cronje that the suspect did not sign the statement, Exhibit JJ. What is your comment?
He signed it in my presence because I'm the one that gave him the pen.
Istatement lesi wasayinda ngikhona imina owamnikeza ipen.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Tshepiso Motlhaping and Magistrate Cronje said Ntanzi was in his right mind, free and willing to take the statement. Someone who really wanted to do this. When Ntanzi and the defense are saying Ntanzi was coerced, assaulted, threatened, tortured in doing this. Tshepiso and Magistrate Cronje said they did not see any injuries on the suspect. The defense say Ntanzi was assaulted. Family, when the defense was given an opportunity to cross-question the interpreter, to be honest, the defense, especially Advocate Mgomezulu, did not have much to ask. Advocate Mgomezulu focused more on the vocabulary of interpretation of the interpreter rather than focusing on whether Ntanzi's confession was done freely and voluntarily. For me, this was like an English class where the teacher and the students were analyzing the proforma, or analyzing, the passage, or maybe the sentences on the passage. They focused on the appointment of an interpreter more than any other thing. Family, we can't wait for the moment when this court will be talking about the reasons why Ntanzi was not taken to court within 48 hours as it was his rights. We can't wait for the moment when this court will be explaining, or whoever has to explain to the court what happened. Why did Ntanzi not been given a chance to have a bath within the 8 days when he was there? Because Ntanzi complained that in 8 days he never had a bath. We can't wait for that moment when the police will be explaining why was Ntanzi not given or afforded an opportunity to call, at least have one call to his family, since it was his right to do that. Those are the things that we are still waiting to hear from this court, from the police and the court. Family, thank you so much for this, for you watching this video. Please do not forget to like it before you leave. Subscribe for my channel. Let me hear on the comment section, what are you saying about this? Thank you, family. Bye.